Hey guys, what is up and welcome back. How are you? For today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a first impression, two looks and comparison video. I have wetness coming out of my nose, one second. Using the brand new Patrick Ta Major Dimension Palette 2 Rose Edition. Here are the two looks that I created. I absolutely love. I knew I wouldn't be disappointed. But yeah, I'm excited about this video, so let's get started with the looks. Okay, so I will tell you it is 12 a.m. here on a Saturday night. We're just chilling with pajamas, sports bra, if you know what I'm saying. I have my base pretty much done. I'll have, of course, everything linked down below. I know that we're in the midst of the Sephora VIB sale, so you can get this for 20% off, 15% off, or 10% off. $68, by the way, this retails for, and I purchased it from Sephora. Also, for my lips, I did put on the Major Glow Softening Lip Mask from Patrick Ta as well. I'm gonna try to keep it a Patrick Ta-ish type of video. I showcased this in my recent Sephora haul, my Sephora VIB sale haul. It's so nice, so moisturizing, heavenly on, I'll tell you that. And then yeah, okay, I'll talk about my blush soon, but hey, look at this, I have to show you. You know what I'm saying? This is like the best thing ever. If you can pick this up, I would definitely recommend. She's Passionate Monochromatic Blush by Patrick Ta. It's the blush I'm wearing today. Life. Okay, so here is what this beauty looks like. Absolutely gorgeous. We get 5 mattes, 2 cream finishes. We get some iridescent type of shades, glistening pearl type of shades, and I want to say some, at least one duochrome it seems like. What it says on the back here is you can contour and create the most multidimensional looks that go from day to night. I absolutely love how he organizes his palette. He usually keeps the mattes on the bottom here, metallic, glittery, like delicious shades up here, and then in his previous palette he had 2 cream shades, and in this palette he has cream shades as well. So with these cream shades you can actually use them to create just like a bunch of different things. So firstly, you could use them to create like a winged liner. You can use it as a base to apply first and then apply with some of these shades on top. You can use it to create like a cut crease. So initially I wasn't a massive fan of them, but I actually have been enjoying the ones that were included in the original palette. So I'm happy he included it in here as well, just because I feel like you can do so much with all the different finishes. And it also, like, the flap really makes it, because if it wouldn't have a flap, I'll be like, oh, why? But the fact that it has a flap, it really just, I think all together just is perfection. The first shade I'm gonna go in with is this matte cream shade on a Morphe M330 fluffy brush. So I'm gonna set my lids with this, and I'm usually pretty generous, just because I feel like it helps out a lot with blending out the shades that I put on top. Next, I'm gonna go in with this Mauve matte with the same brush. The train is passing. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that. And then with that, I'm gonna put it in the crease, just buffing it out a bit. Seems like a nice color, and it's translating nicely on the eye too. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. Gorgeous color. I feel like it's mauve, but not like overly mauve. I want to say it has a drop of pink in there as well. I'm gonna go pretty high with this. Okay, then the next shade I want to go in with is this deep brown color on a Morphe GH33 brush. I picked up a little bit on the brush, and I'm going to work this on the outer part of the eye. I'm very much a type, so I'm really just kind of like dotting it, basically. And how do you say this? Kind of like moving it, pushing it inwards, but a little bit lower than the previous shade, as you guys can see, because I want that to really show through. But I'm very much a type of person that, like, I'll go in with a lot and then figure it out. I know a lot of people, they'll go in with a little and then build up. With me, it's the whole thing, and then that's pretty much it. So, like, I guess I could have gone in with a few other shades to build up, but I'm just, yeah, very much a type where it's like, just give me the deepest shade and I'll take it from there. And forgot to say, I actually might be using this palette for my engagement. So I guess I'll talk to you guys as I blend and build up, but I am doing my own makeup. I am still not sure like what palette I want to use, but I think I'm leaning more towards either this one or one of the Natasha Denona palettes. I don't know what color dress I'm wearing. I'm thinking maybe like pink, but regardless, no matter like what I really wear, I think like really a neutral look would go with anything. Okay, then I also wanted to say what I noticed was this shade, this one, and this one are more like metallic finishes. They could be great to wear on their own. And then this shade and this shade I feel like have more of like a thinner consistency to them, and they don't have as much pigment. So I definitely feel like those would probably be better off as lid toppers. You could use maybe like this shade, this or this and then throw these two on top. Or if you're looking for more of like a glass-like see-through type of look, you can wear these on their own. I think it would look really cool. So this shade here is actually more of like a duochrome situation. Here you guys can see the two colors, hopefully. So I'm going to use this shade on one eye and this shade on the other, and then possibly put these on top. But I feel like this is how I would probably build up my transition shade, or maybe go in with like the little bit of like the lighter brown. But for the most part, this is typically what I would do, and then just throw a different shade on the lid. So like basically the reason why I'm saying this is because I feel like this is how I would create different looks. So then this would kind of be like one look, and then this would be another look. Even though it's similar, it's still different because there are different shades on the lid, and that's how I do my makeup basically. So this is applying really, really nicely. It has a little bit more of like a piecey finish to it, but it's still adhering really nicely to the eye. It is a gorgeous, stunning color, and it builds up really, really well too. Love this shade with the browns. It goes so well. Then I'm gonna go in with this duochrome shade on top of that. So like I mentioned, this is more of like a see-through type of color. I wanna just see if it would really do much. I feel like it's really just intensifying the shade that I put underneath. I don't really see much duochrome once it's actually like on the eye. So it's possible I would wear this shade maybe on its own. I don't know if it does anything when it's on top of other shades. And I'm gonna pull this up to my brows. That's what I've been doing recently. And yeah, I noticed just now, I guess when it's not on top of a different shade, the duochrome-ness comes out even more. Okay, now for the other eye, I'm gonna go in with this, and then I'm gonna put this on top. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with that like more reddish type of shade. On top of that, like I mentioned, it could be more of like a topper. It's very thin consistency. Now let's see if this does anything. Yeah, I think it does a little bit. It kind of changes the color into more of like a reddish type of shade. It's really pretty. I'm gonna put this up here too on the brow. Yeah, I think that did more than what this eye has to offer. But very, very pretty. I feel like with these like duochromes and glitters, you can really just kind of throw them on, similar to like Pat McGrath style glitters and metallics. And I feel like really wherever you put it, it just happens to look good, you know? So I love it so far. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna go in with the deepest brown shade on just a flat shader brush. That's what it's called. With this, I'm pretty much just gonna put it here and buff it out a bit. Also connecting it here. My eyes are tearing slightly. I'm gonna go in with like a clean brush and blend it out. Sometimes my eyes tear if I'm tired or, you know. So if it looks unblended here, it's because it's already watery, but it's really blending out very nicely overall. And then I'm gonna take an angled brush and push the product underneath my lash line so it's a bit more dramatic. I do this a lot. I think it really changes my look completely. For liner, I'm going to be using the Sephora collection one, which I recently spoke about in my Sephora haul. I'm also going to be using the Big by Definition mascara by Sephora as well. And I'm going to just pop on some lashes, so I'll be back in a sec. And I'm actually just going to go in with this iconic London duo, which I also shared with you guys in my recent Sephora haul. And I'm going to go in with this highlighter with my pinky and highlight my inner corners. Always like to do this step, or typically don't miss out on the step because I feel like it really amps up the look. All right, then I'm gonna apply a little bit more, blush. This is again in She's Passionate. It's like one of my favorite blushes ever. I feel like since the eyes are done, I could use a little bit more blushiness. My cheeks could use a little more blush. For lips, I'm gonna be applying the brand new Fenty lipstick in Mother Lover. I think that's how you say it. I have a full in-depth video on these lip swatches on the full collection if you guys want to check it out. So it's just a nice nude. Well, I love this color, by the way, and it's been a lipstick I've been using a ton since I purchased it. I just want to quickly apply face highlighter. So I'm going to go in with this shade right here, the one that we use on the lids here. It definitely is more of like a piecey shade, so probably not the best for the cheeks, but if you work into the skin, I think it could do well. It can do wonders. I feel like it's showing a bit more texture than I would like, but it's very reflective and very pretty. So an option if you want to. That's pretty much it for the eye look. I love how both eyes turned out. And I like that there are so many different finishes in here because you could do so much with this. And I feel like this is the kind of palette where it's like almost like the messier you are, like the better it is. So like the type where like you just throw this on and it just happens to look good. And I will say with Patrick Ta's formula, his formula is so nice and smooth that if you do have a hard time blending or if you have a hard time like pairing shades, it's very much so 1, 2, 3 with his palettes. You know, I love the original one, the Extra Dimension palette OG. This shade right here is probably one of my favorites. But yeah, it's just such a simple formula to work with that makes it such an absolute breeze to apply on the eye. You know, if you're in a rush or if you want to take your time, you have the option with both, like with this palette and now with this new rose one. And I personally think when it comes to eyeshadows, he definitely has it down. I would rank him pretty high up there for sure. Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath vibes, let me tell ya. By the way, this is the reason why I don't really wear my bangs out anymore, because it's just not gonna work out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of always like, oh. All right, now I'm gonna share with you guys just a comparison between both palettes, let you know which one maybe I like more, how different they look compared to each other, the whole shebang. Let's do this. I had to come to my bed to show you guys with better lighting. That's me too. Hi. Here is what the rose palette looks like. My nails are gross, don't even look. But it has almost like this border around the palette, which I kind of like how he added that detail there. And then the original one is just plain. It's also more of like a rose goldeny color. This one, it's almost more like a silver type of shade, but they're the same exact sizes. So right off the bat, you guys can kind of see the original one I feel like is more of like a neutral, natural glam, brownish type of palette. And then the newest one is more of like a rosy neutral palette, if you know what I'm saying. So I do feel like they really do have very different color stories. I think they would be excellent pairing palettes for sure. I'm actually very curious to know how these shades would pair with these shades. I will say there are pretty much the same amount of finishes in both palettes. So both palettes do include the cream shades with the little flap, which I think is awesome. Love that. For the rose palette, we have like all the glitters, the metallics up there, and then the mattes down here. For the original Major Dimension palette, I feel like throughout this video I called it Extra Dimension palette, but Major Dimension palette, we have like the glitter metallic situations, and then this is more of like a satin finish, so not as glittery as the others. But I still feel like it does add a bit more than a regular matte, and then down here we have the matte shades. So I kind of like how he kind of kept both the same almost when it comes to finishes and the way he kind of arranged it. First of all, it's easy on the eyes. And then also, I think it's the perfect amount of each to kind of create really just tons of different looks no matter how you do your makeup. I definitely think the original palette is a good OG palette. These are tones that I feel like everyone can benefit from. But I also feel like this new addition, the new rose one, is still also just such a gorgeous palette that I feel like a lot of people might get a lot of use out of as well. But I feel like this is just a good maybe starter palette, and then you can kind of add this to your collection if you're contemplating on if you need this one, if you already have this one, 100%, because they are so different and it's the same formula we know and love. And yeah, I want to say that's pretty much it when it comes to these, but obsessed so far, and I really cannot wait to see what other looks I can come up with using both palettes together, the rose one on its own, all of that. Okay, so I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know for sure your thoughts and comments down below. Let me know if you're going to pick this palette up, if you're going to skip out on it, what you personally think. Keep me posted. I love hearing from you guys. I really do. And I will see you guys in my next video.